My own sister stood in our cramped Austin kitchen, hand on her belly, smirking like she'd just won the lottery, and announced she was pregnant, with number 5 expecting me to sell my only car to buy her a minivan so she could haul all these kids around in style. I swear my heart stopped beating for a full second. But I'd already been raising her 4 babies for years while she bounced with your boyfriends inside. Hustles that never materialized. The look in her eyes said she genuinely believed I owed her my entire life. What she didn't know, what nobody in that room knew, was that I'd already found the one piece of evidence that would finally end this nightmare. And honey, when it came out, nobody saw the payback coming. Before I spill the rest, I just want to say thank you for sitting here with me while I pour my heart out. It means the world that y'all are listening. Drop a quick comment. Tell me where you're tuning in from and what time it is there. I love imagining us all connected across the world like this. And if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. That tiny click helps me keep sharing these real, raw stories more than you know. Okay, deep breath. Now let me tell you what really happened. My name's Amelia Johnson. I'm 29, born and raised right here in Austin, Texas. Well, technically Pflugerville first. Then we moved closer in when mom got sick. I work as a billing coordinator for a mid-size logistics company downtown. It's not glamorous, but it pays the bills, most of them anyway. For the last 6 years, I've been the invisible backbone of my sister, Lauren's chaotic little empire. Lauren's 34, never held a job longer than 3 months, and somehow always lands on her feet. Because someone else, usually me, catches her fall. When our mom passed from breast cancer back in 2018, Lauren was already pregnant with her second. She cried for 2 days straight, then handed me baby number 1 and said, "You're so good with kids, Ames. I just need a little help till I get on my feet." That little help turned into me moving into her rented 3-bedroom in North Austin so I could watch the babies while she looked for work. I paid half the rent, all the groceries, daycare when the free spots ran out, school supplies, clothes, doctor copays, you name it. I told myself it was temporary. Family, right? We're supposed to show up. But temporary became permanent. Lauren met Travis, her current on-again, off-again fiance, and suddenly there were 4 kids under 7 and me working 50+ hours a week just to keep the lights on. Travis contributed vibes and beer money. That's about it. I'd come home after 10-hour days, cook dinner, bathe kids, help with homework, fold laundry till midnight, then drag myself to bed wondering how I'd make the car payment and still save. Something for the future, I kept promising myself. I started therapy last year. Thank God for the EAP through work that covered 8 sessions. My therapist kept saying the same thing. "Amelia, you're not their mother. You're their aunt. And you're allowed to have boundaries." I'd nod, cry a little, then go right back to writing checks until that Tuesday night in late March when everything cracked wide open. I walked in from a brutal day as a system crashed at work. Clients screaming, manager breathing down my neck, and there was Lauren in the kitchen wearing a brand new maternity top I'd never seen before. She rubbed her stomach in slow circles and grinned. "Guess what, sis? Baby number 5, due in November. Isn't that exciting?" My stomach dropped like I'd been punched. 4 kids were already more than she could handle. 5? I forced a smile because the little ones were watching. "Wow, congrats. You feeling okay?" She waved it off, tired, but Travis says this one's a girl, so I'm glowing already. Then she dropped the bomb so casually I almost laughed from shock. "Oh, and we're gonna need a bigger vehicle. The SUV's fallen apart. Grandma's old minivan idea won't cut it anymore. I was thinking you could sell your Honda, get something reliable for all of us. You barely drive it anyway." I stood there holding my lunch bag, still in my work flats, kids running circles around my legs, and felt something inside me finally snap. Not anger, not yet, just cold, clear certainty. This wasn't a request. This was an expectation. She expected me to liquidate the one thing that got me to work every day, the one thing that represented my tiny sliver of independence, so she could haul more kids she wasn't raising. I set the bag down slowly. "Lauren, I'm not selling my car. Her smile froze. What do you mean? It's not like you need it for anything big. You work from home half the time now, right? I work downtown. I need it to get there, and I need it to keep the job that pays for everything. Travis wandered in from the living room, beer in hand. Come on, Amelia. Family first. Lauren's carrying precious cargo. I looked at him, really looked, and saw the same entitlement mirrored back. Then I looked at Lauren. She wasn't asking. She was informing me of my next obligation. That night I couldn't sleep. I lay on the pullout couch in the den, my room, staring at the ceiling while the baby monitor crackled with little snores. I kept replaying her words. Precious cargo. Like my life wasn't precious too. Like 6 years of sacrifice hadn't earned me the right to keep one single thing for myself. The next morning I did what I'd been too scared to do for years. I opened a separate bank account, one Lauren didn't know about. I started routing half my paycheck there, quietly, automatically. I told myself it was just in case of emergency, but deep down I knew it was escape money. A week later, things got worse. Way worse. I came home to find a bright orange shut-off notice from Austin Energy, taped to the front door, 3 months behind. I'd given Lauren $800 2 weeks earlier, specifically for the electric bill. My hands shook as I pulled it off and walked inside. She was on the couch scrolling baby name lists. I held up the paper. Lauren, what happened to the money I gave you? She didn't even look up. Oh, that. I needed a few things for the pregnancy. Maternity jeans, new bras, some supplements the midwife recommended. Utilities can wait. I felt heat rush to my face. They can't wait. They're shutting us off tomorrow unless it's paid by 5. She finally glanced at me, annoyed. Then pay it, Amelia. You're the one with the good job. I stood there stunned. She said it like it was obvious. Like my paycheck belonged to the household first and my needs came last, if at all. That night I transferred the last of my emergency fund to cover the bill again, but this time I didn't tell her. I just did it silently and started planning harder. Then the real bomb dropped. 2 weeks after the pregnancy announcement, I got an alert from my credit monitoring app, a hard inquiry on my credit filed from a furniture store I'd never heard of. I logged in at 2 a.m. while the house slept and saw a brand new account opened in my name, maxed out, $4,800 on nursery furniture crib, glider, changing table, all high-end. The delivery address, our house. Lauren had used my social security number to finance thousands in baby gear while I was at work. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely hold the phone. This wasn't laziness anymore. This was identity theft, a federal crime from my own sister. I sat in the dark, replaying every moment I trusted her. Every time I handed over money, every time I covered for her, every time I told myself she'd change. And I realized something terrifying: she never would. Not unless I forced the issue. The next day, I met my best friend, Sarah, at a little coffee spot off Lamar, a safe place. Sarah's a paralegal downtown. I slid the printouts across the table. She read them, jaw tight. Amelia, this is serious. She committed fraud. You need to freeze your credit right now and file a police report. I can't. The kids. The kids are why you have to. If she's willing to tank your credit, what's next? She'll keep going until there's nothing left to take. Sarah walked me through every step. We called the credit bureaus from the parking lot, froze everything, disputed the charges. Then she looked me dead in the eye. You need an exit plan. Tonight, not next month. Tonight. I drove home shaking, but something had shifted. The fear was still there, but underneath it was steel. I wasn't asking permission anymore. That evening, Lauren was in full nesting mode, ordering more stuff online with who knows what card. I walked past her without a word and went to my corner of the den. I started quietly gathering documents: birth certificate, passport, work laptop, the new bank statements. I moved like I was tiptoeing around landmines. Around midnight, my oldest nephew, Ethan, 13, slipped into the den. He's always been the quiet observer. He handed me a folded piece of paper. I heard Mom and Travis talking, he whispered. They're gonna report your car stolen if you try to leave with it. Mom said grandma's gonna back her up, say you took jewelry or something. They're planning it for next week. My blood ran cold. They were already plotting to trap me. Ethan's eyes were huge. Aunt Amelia, you gotta go. For real this time. I pulled him into a hug so tight I felt his heartbeat. I'm taking you with me the second I can. I swear. He nodded, then disappeared back down the hall. That was the moment I stopped planning and started executing. I had one shot, one night, one chance to disappear before they woke up and turn my life into their weapon. I didn't sleep that night. Not really. I lay there in the dark den, listening to the house breathe. Travis's snoring from the master bedroom, the occasional whimper from one of the little ones, the fridge humming like it was mocking me. Every creak of the old floorboards felt like a countdown. Around 2:30 a.m. I slipped out of the pullout, barefoot, moving like I was walking on eggshells across broken glass. I'd already packed 2 black trash bags the day before, hidden them behind the laundry hamper in the hall closet. Essentials only, work clothes, laptop, important papers, a few pairs of shoes. My favorite hoodie that still smelled faintly like Mom's lavender detergent. No photos, no keepsakes. Those would have weighed me down, and I couldn't afford weight right now. I crept past the kids' rooms, heart hammering so loud I was sure it'd wake Ethan, but he was waiting, silhouette. In the hallway, shadows. Hoodie up, eyes wide and serious. He didn't say a word, just grabbed one bag and nodded toward the back door. We moved like we'd rehearsed it, which in a way we had through whispered. Late night talks when everyone else was asleep. Outside, the Austin night was thick and warm. That early spring humidity that sticks to your skin. My Honda was parked on the street, 2 houses down. I'd started doing that weeks ago for work reasons, but really, so the engine wouldn't wake the house. When I finally ran, we loaded the trunk in silence. Ethan's hands shook a little when he handed me the last bag. I pulled him into the tightest hug. I'm coming back for you, I whispered into his hair. Soon as I'm stable. You keep your grades up, keep an eye on the little ones. Text me only from the school library computer. Use that anonymous app I showed you. No calls from your phone. He nodded against my shoulder. I know, just go, Aunt Amelia, before she wakes up. I kissed the top of his head, got in the car, and rolled it down the slight hill in neutral until I was half a block away before starting the engine. The sound felt deafening in the quiet night, but no lights came on behind me. I drove straight to the south side past downtown, past the glowing Capitol building, all the way to a little extend Estee motel off Ben White that Sarah had booked under her name. Cash only, no questions. I collapsed onto the stiff motel bed at 4 a.m. Fully dressed, bag still zipped. For the first time in years, the only person I had to take care of was me. And that terrified me almost as much as staying. The next morning, my phone started exploding. Lauren, Travis, even Grandma's landline number. I let them go to voicemail while I showered off the last 6 years. When I finally listened, the progression was textbook narcissist meltdown. Confusion, where are you? Kids need breakfast. Guilt trips. You're abandoning your own blood. Rage, you selfish bitch. I'll make sure you never see these kids again. Threats, I already called the cops. Said you stole money and jewelry. I saved every single one. Evidence. Sarah met me at a Waffle House off I-35 that afternoon. She brought coffee and a folder. Credits frozen. Disputes filed. Police report for identity theft is ready. You just need to sign and go in tomorrow. But Amelia, they're not gonna stop. Lauren's already telling family you ran off with the household. Money. Grandma's calling everyone, saying you're unstable. I stared at my hash browns getting cold. They're gonna try to paint me as the villain. Exactly. So we flipped the script. You've got proof, the bank transfers you made for bills, the credit fraud docs, Ethan's texts. We document everything. And you start that new job next week. I'd applied months ago, coyly on a whim. Systems analyst trainee at a tech firm in Round Rock. Better pay. Benefits, remote options after training. I'd gotten the offer letter the same day Lauren announced the pregnancy. I hadn't told a soul. Monday morning, I walked into that shiny office building wearing the one blazer I'd kept unwrinkled. My new manager kind. No nonsense woman in her 40s welcomed me like I belonged there. For the first time in forever, someone looked at me and saw potential, not a free babysitter. 2 weeks later, the hammer dropped on Lauren. I'd filed the police report. They took it seriously. Identity theft isn't small potatoes. They interviewed her. She cried, played victim, said I had abandoned the family and must have opened the card myself to frame her. But the delivery receipts, timestamps, IP logs, they didn't lie. And when the detective asked about the jewelry she claimed I stole, she fumbled. Turned out Grandma's vintage diamonds were cubic zirconia from a pawn shop. She'd planted the story to make me look worse. Then Ethan did the bravest thing I've ever seen a 13-year-old do. He recorded her on his school-issued tablet voice memo while she was ranting on speakerphone to Grandma about how she'd hidden the fake jewelry box under her bed to make it look like Amelia took it. He sent me the file through the anonymous app. I forwarded it to the detective. Lauren got charged with identity theft, fraud, and filing a false report. Travis bailed the second CPS showed. Upset he couldn't deal with the drama. Left in the middle of the night with half her maternity clothes money and her favorite throw blanket. Classy. CPS removed the kids temporarily. Not permanently, thank God, but enough to force Lauren into parenting classes, therapy, and a clean home inspection. The house was a wreck without me there to clean it. Mold in the bathroom, empty fridge, overdue everything. They placed the little ones with a foster family in Pflugerville, good people. Sarah checked. Ethan stayed with an aunt on Travis's side who actually enforced bedtime and homework. I visited them every weekend, brought groceries, helped with school projects, told them I loved them, and this wasn't forever. Ethan hugged me so tight the first time, I almost couldn't breathe. You did it, he whispered. You got out. 3 months later, Lauren showed up at my new apartment complex. How she found the address, I still don't know. She looked terrible. Hair greasy, eyes red, belly huge. She dropped to her knees in the parking lot in front of my neighbors. Amelia, please, tell CPS you'll help with rent. Tell them I've changed. The baby's coming soon and I can't lose them. You're their aunt. I stood there, keys in hand, feeling the old guilt rise, and then I let it go. Like dropping a rock into deep water. I raised your kids for 6 years, Lauren. I paid your bills, cooked your meals, wiped their tears. You thanked me by stealing my identity and trying to trap me. This? I gestured at her on the ground. This is what happens when you treat people like ATMs instead of family. I'm done carrying you. I walked past her, up the stairs, locked my door. She screamed my name for 10 minutes. Then silence. Neighbors called security. She left. That was the last time I saw her in person. 6 months after I left, I got promoted. Junior systems analyst. Salary almost double what I made before. I moved into a cute 1-bedroom in Mueller walking distance to parks. Good schools nearby for when the kids come back to me. Because they will. I'm building a case-steady job. Safe home. Therapy records showing I'm stable and boundary strong. My lawyer says with Lauren's charges and the neglect findings, I've got a solid shot at guardianship when they're ready. Grandma's in assisted living now. She called once from the facility phone. I didn't pick up. Some bridges burn for a reason. Lauren? Last. I heard she's working graveyard at a 24-hour laundromat on East Riverside, folding strangers' clothes, back aching, no one to hand her money or excuses. She's finally living the life she tried to force on me. And me? I wake up in quiet. I drink coffee without anyone demanding breakfast. I go to yoga class. Yes, I finally joined one and breathe without someone else's crisis filling my lungs. I text Ethan every night. He's thriving. Straight A's. Wants to be a software engineer like me. Sometimes I still catch myself waiting for the other shoe to drop. But it doesn't, because I'm not waiting anymore. I'm walking forward. If you're carrying someone else's load and wondering if you're allowed to put it down, your boundaries aren't mean. They're survival. And sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself and people you love has walk away until they learn to stand on their own. Thank you for staying with me through all of this. Seriously, y'all have no idea how much your comments and subscribes mean. They remind me I'm not alone. So tell me, have you ever had to cut off family to save yourself? Or are you still trying to figure out where the line is? Drop it below. I read every single one. And if this story hit home, hit subscribe. More real stories, more real healing coming your way. Love y'all. Talk soon.